Welcome in, everybody. It's the Craft Beer Republic. Thanks for drinking. Thanks for joining. I am Greg, and I am being joined by the maltiest fella on the Fresh Coast, and that is Flexi. What's up, big fella?
You know, just drinking and joining or something.
Yeah, a lot of malty beers lately, though.
Yeah, which is actually, so you know me pretty well, not my thing.
I know.
Well,
very surprising.
okay,
not your thing.
Not my thing.
Right.
But not my go-to.
Sure.
But
usually it's a little hazier.
it is one of my favorite times of the year, so
Yes.
gotta
So
let it ride.
We'll get into that in a couple of few. A lot to get to today. I did a little extra curricular research, if you will. That was hard to say for some reason.
Well, now I'm extra curious.
We got a voicemail. We got some booze news to get to. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Let's crack things off with asking a very important question.
In a world where craft beer is king, a world where muscles are bigger than growlers, only one tongue can guide us. One man, one tongue, one tongue jobber. In this world, we must find out what is Flex drinking.
Well, roll out the barrel. It's a song we sing at brewer games.
Oh, okay.
Seventh inning stretch.
Oh, it's
Roll
not
out-
taking me out to the ball game?
So they do too. Take me out to the ball game and roll out the barrel.
Oh,
Roll out the barrel, sing us a song of good cheer. Roll out
Never heard
the
it.
barrel. No, you're dumb.
sorry.
It's like a polka Polish thing.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, pretty south side Wisconsin. Well, any weasels, we on that roll. We drinking at Oktoberfest. Can't stop, won't stop.
I like the name.
And today, so I'm doing the MKE Brewing Oktoberfest. I talked about it last week. I did not rank it in my rankings because I knew I was going to have it on this show. So this on the front of the can. First of all, this can art, it's simple. It's great. It is very German Oktoberfest.
Yep. Gets the job done.
It is great. And this one does say it is a Märzen style lager. It says, our Oktoberfest is traditionally brewed with pale ale, caramel, and toasted Munich malts that attribute a sweet, earthy, malty flavor, toasted aroma, and a bright orange hue. So this beer, it's got that coppery, brown, orange, classic Märzen style color.
The correct color.
On the old sniffer, it's kind of light. Not a huge aroma here. Slightly malty, I would say. A little bit of sweetness behind that, which makes sense from the sugars. So then we'll get the warm up the old Zungenjabber. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
comparing to last week's, where I said not a lot of carbonation, this one's a little bit more carbonated. I don't know what does that because I don't know how to brew beer.
Sure.
It is
Just add more carbonation.
it has a lot. I shouldn't say a lot. Last week's beer, the Eagle Park, did not have a lot of that roasty toasty. This one, as I dive in again, it is there. It is like, it's like perfect. Like perfect. I don't even know how else to describe it other than like perfectly balanced roastiness to the caramel flavor, like the sweet. It's like, this is really good.
I think I can help you describe this.
Dieses Oktoberfest schmeckt mir köstlich auf der Zunge.
Yeah. What she said.
She said, this Oktoberfest is delicious on my tongue jobber.
Oh, Zugenjabber. Yeah, I don't know. This is really well done. It doesn't have anything imported German, it says, but it's fucking delicious.
That's all you need.
Like, it's absolutely classic of the style. And to put it in my rankings,
Oh, yes.
I'd say it takes the third spot.
Oh, tie marks.
Yes, because I never really talked about this raised grain beer I had. And I'm just going to dive into it a little bit.
Sure.
So I drank it out of a can, and I usually pour all my stuff out. You get
Right.
more of it,
Yeah.
right?
We're nerds.
It breathes a little bit. So I crushed 2 of these 16 ounces, and it was like the breadiness at the end. Like, when you drink like a Pilsner or a lager and you got that breadiness, that crackery, it was like full of that on the end, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I just thought it was such a great flavor to bring into the malts, the roasted malts and the caramel. And then you finish off with the breadiness, and it just tasted so good together. And that's why it sits at number 2 on my list.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Just remind everybody that Third Space was so far the worst. You don't get them out there. They're local to us, but it was just a lot.
The worst with a U?
Well, then it's the worst.
The worst, yeah.
Oh, you the best too? Yeah. How about the worst too?
Well, very nice. I too am drinking an Oktoberfest today. We'll get to that in a little bit, but 'tis the season. As we talked,
tis been the season. Greg.
Tis been as we discussed with Erica a couple weeks ago. As the season, which I'm still waiting for, happens to cool down a little, and you're in that perfect combination of like, let's have some Oktoberfest beers, but also some IPAs, some pales, some stouts at night. It's fucking perfect. Perfect beer drinking time.
That's where we're at now.
See, not in California. Not yet.
So it's like during the day today, it was like mid to high 70s. And let me just check the weather right now. It's a balmy 60 degrees.
That sounds glorious. It is 8:43 here as we record. The current temperature is 74 degrees.
That's not bad.
That's not the worst.
It says it feels like 58 right now, though.
Oh, so that's better. Speaking of hot places, shout out to our top listening city of last week. The new one for us, Decatur, Georgia.
Oh,
yeah. What up, Decatur?
Yeah. What's up, dogs?
Hoof, hoof.
That's dog country. Oh,
sound like a Braun Breaker.
Gross. Not a fan.
If you hear me.
Not a fan.
Oh, not a fan.
No, Braun. No.
Yeah, he's whatever.
Yeah.
Not a wrestling show, but why didn't they just package him as a Steiner? Why'd they have to give him a whole new name?
Because Rick Steiner was canceled.
He was?
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Oh, for what?
I couldn't remember if it was racist or misogynist.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, because they showed Rick and Scott at an event recently.
Yeah, but Rick Steiner was canceled.
Oh, who knew? Well, not a wrestling show. I was unaware.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So that's why he was not packaged as a Steiner.
Got it. Makes a little more sense now. All right, back to the beer stuff. So did some traveling for work and was up in San Francisco. Spent a few days up there. We had to go meet with one of our clients. And usually I'm up there by myself. My boss was up there too, which, is fine. Because, we not hang out, but we do our work things. And we usually go our separate ways. One of the days we were coming back from our work thing and he goes, hey, I'd like to offer you the invitation to go out to dinner with, which means, like free dinner, obviously.
How awkward. Is that how he phrased it?
Not quite that, but he, was like, hey, we haven't really gone out to dinner or anything. There's this great seafood place,
hello,
that I love.
Good sir, whom I share
it may concern.
Workplace with.
To my peon who I pay.
Be willing to.
Well, the weird part is
pressure.
Well, that's what he said. It wasn't as awkward as I made it sound, but he did at one point like, no pressure. I know I'm your boss. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's still pressure. Like, no boss, go fuck yourself. What am I supposed to do? So I accepted. And then later on that day, he's like, I'm so tired. I can't go out there. I'm so sorry. I have to rescind my invitation. I was like, oh, shucks. Like, thumbs up. Thanks. It's not that he's a bad guy. I just, Can
I get your card, though?
Right.
Because you kind of promised me a dinner.
I mean, business, expenses are paid for because it's a business trip.
Right.
But, I'm not going to go to a fancy place without his card like he was going to take me to.
Right.
So, anyways, I mean, and he's not a bad guy to hang out with so much. It's weird. It's my boss. And, I like to go, maybe have a couple of beers and not be looked at like an alcoholic. So, had the night to myself, which was great. And I've talked about Black Hammer on the show before.
Yep.
Enjoyed them very much. Brought some back. All that good stuff.
Great things about them.
Yeah. Well, I found about 2.5 miles from my hotel.
Orange screwdriver.
What is that? Oh, Black Hammer.
God dang it, Greg.
You got me. No, it was called Willkommen, but the beer, it was owned by Black Hammer. So the beer is all Black Hammer beer.
Cool.
And they have like German food, a bunch of sausages, brats and wursts and sauerkraut and all this Germany things. And so I walked 2.5 miles to Willkommen.
So it's like a German beer hall kind of thing.
Yeah, but they have all the beers that Black Hammer has. So,
Okay.
You get an IPA or, whatever you want. You don't just have German beers on tap.
Got it.
But there are German beers on tap. And had this fucking delicious sausage plate. It was fucking amazing. And I sat down to eat and had a beer with me. And guy walks over, hey, you playing trivia? I was like, no, man, I'm by myself. I mean, we all know that, like, we go out with Deb and Brian and play trivia all the time. But
second place.
Yeah, exactly. Second place. We got first place last week. And it felt so good because all the teams we hate were there. And we beat fucking all of them. Not that we hate people. But I was like, no, I'm good. I'm by myself having a couple beers and some dinner. He's like, just play. And, if you got to go, you got to go. I'm not going to hold you here. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll play. So I played by myself. My team, in quotes, name was Last Man Drinking, which apparently he loved. He's like, oh, that's such a great name. I was like, you are not that funny of a person then.
He's not.
Yeah.
No.
He made it it made us all very aware that he's a stand-up comedian on the side. And I was like, okay.
I was going to say, his level of humor was not very great.
In fact, I got him laughing so hard that he's like, well, clearly I'm in the wrong business. You should be the comedian. I was like, wow. We're in San Francisco. The A's game is on. The A's are still in Oakland for the rest of the season. And they're showing the game. Not fucking anybody in that crowd. I mean, legit must have been like 300 people in the entire stadium. It was so empty.
Well, did you hear recently about that Chicago White Sox doubleheader where they had 98 total fans?
Really?
Yes.
That's what this looked like. I mean, there's nobody even behind home plate. And so he said something. Oh, the A's manager came out, was one of the umpires. And he said something about like, oh man, I guess he looks angry. And I was like, yeah, they just told him what the attendance count was. And he lost his shit laughing. He's like, that's the one. He's like, that's the best joke of the night. You should be the comedian. I was like, clearly, if that's the best joke of the night.
Yeah. Maybe take up trivia as a full-time job.
Yeah. Overall, nice guy. I had a good time at trivia. I did not get last. I was middle of the road, which was fine for being by myself. I'll take it. Once again, beer was delicious. And of course, the sausage plate was chef's kiss.
Love me a good sausage.
Dude, it had, first of all, yeah, you do. Couple different types of sausage. A little mustard, had some cheese. It was like a protein plate kind of thing. Like had some cheese slices, had some pickled veggies. It was fucking good. So good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, what else? Oh, we went out. Oh man. We went out with Deb and Brian over the weekend, the wife and I.
Okay.
We'd met up for trivia. We're like, hey, we should hang out Saturday and maybe go like Dave and Buster's. Do you guys have Dave and Buster's out there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults. And so, that's not something we normally do. We went to Dave and Buster's and got absolutely shittered.
They usually have good drink specials.
Well, they have horrible beer options.
Right.
But they did, as we walked in, we of course hit the bar first. And they had this sign that they were doing like Jello shots 2 for $1. So our old asses did Jello. And they weren't just shots. They were like the syringe shooters,
Okay.
So we did a round of Jello shots, had some beers. The girls had some mixed drinks, played some games, had some more drinks, played some games, had some more drinks. Got a little tired of doing all that. So we walked across the parking lot to Eureka Brewing. Each had a couple more beers. And then they closed at like 10. And I was like, well, what do we do now? I guess go back to Dave & Buster's because they closed at like 2.
Come on.
Went back to Dave & Buster's. Had a few more drinks. Brian ran into a former boss while we were there. Ubered home. Like Uber was hard to get that night. It was like 12:30, and there were no Ubers out in our area.
That's because nobody was at the A's game.
That was up north. There's no A's game down here. This is back down here. And so we ended up having to do the thing where like we added a stop to ours just so Brian and Deb could get home because like their Uber kept going the wrong way. I was like, just cancel your shit. We'll add a stop and did all that. It was one of those.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh yeah. Once like they accept the ride, you can edit it and then add a stop. So we do that sometimes, but yeah, so it was good times. We got fucking shittered. Like just one of those, we didn't like pound drinks other than the Jello shots, But man, we just kept going.
Sounds like I'd be dead.
Yeah, we just kept going. It was like all night, we had some snacks at one point, but it was good times. We got drunk and played some video games.
Well, so it's football season's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a football show.
Not a football show.
Had my big fantasy football draft though, and it takes place at a local bar.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of those here.
Yes.
I drank a lot. Like more than I drink in, I don't know, I would say the last easily before COVID. So we'd say like 5 years. I got home and I was expecting to feel like shit. I knew going to bed, I was expecting to wake up feeling like a bag of dicks and I had to work the next day and just totally like I knew what I was getting myself into. I don't know what happened. What my body did. I woke up like a fucking champ.
That's the best.
Not 1 ounce of headache, no stomach issues. I was a little bit tired, and I thought if I maybe just had 1 hour extra sleep, I would have felt like 100%.
God, that's the best.
But it was like 6 beers, 6 shots.
Wow,
that's a lot of hooch for me.
Yeah, especially
like
6 shots.
Six shots. That's the thing. Like 6 beers, fine, whatever.
No big deal. Yeah.
But if you start adding that liquor into my diet, I'm horrible with liquor.
Same.
That is when I get completely fucked up. Puking is the only option.
Resistance is futile.
Right. And I don't even know what happened. It was like my body would just like kicked into like, we're going to go ultra metabolism and
that's the best.
Break everything down and you're going to have an awesome day. And I did. It was fucking great.
Did you want to buy your liver like a gift on those days?
No,
like, thanks for being a champ.
It just made me want to do it again.
Yeah, that too. Like, oh, clearly I'm not in practice.
Right. Like, I guess I can do this now.
Yeah. I wasn't like the worst after Dave and Buster's like the next day, but I wasn't the best either. Like Deb was fucking dead. She was like, I'm dying over here. I was like, I'm not dying. I'm not thriving either. I'm just, I got a decent headache, needed some greasy food. Yeah. Had a Dr. Pepper, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. That was the day of my fantasy draft and I napped through it. So I auto drafted.
You.
Yeah. Hey, I got your boy Aaron Rodgers on my team.
That's not my boy.
Used to be.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your former boy. We'll see what he can blow out this year. Maybe
everybody keeps saying if he stays healthy, the Jets are supposed to be decent. I'm not for it.
I'm thinking neither of those things will happen.
They were USA Today's pick for the Super Bowl this year. Not a sports show, not a football show, but just a little fun tidbit information.
USA Today, apparently not a sports paper either.
Not a sports paper.
Wow, what idiots.
Pretty convinced they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, speaking of my my romping around in San Francisco, we have a
romping ass son of a bitch.
Right? We do have a voicemail from Psycho Bear who lives up in NorCal. So let's check in with him.
Hello,
not a real bear.
No one is available to take your call.
Maybe.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, Craft Beer Republic. This is Psycho Bear. I want to hear my message. So now I find out not only is Greg from my neck of the
laugh
woods,
at himself.
But I guess Erica, I'm hearing her on the latest episode. She just went to Mindscape Fermentation. And that apparently is an hour north of me. My goodness. And to top it all off, Flex, well, my niece and nephew go to Wisconsin, whatever, the university. Man, I was destined to listen to your show. Anyways, just an update. I made a little trip to Seattle, and one of your favorite fans, the Fontana Jim, was there. Yes, me and Fontana Jim were in Seattle.
Whoa.
Drinking it up nice for a few days. Great time. You guys should get up there. I don't know if you're sour fans, but we tapped upon this one fantastic brewery, Mirage. They usually have 2 to 3 people. Well, actually, I was there with about 25 other people from around the country. It was pretty stellar.
Gangbang.
Yeah,
huh?
good times. And, I was actually down in Agora 2 weeks before that for a little birthday celebration. Made it to Rancho Hill.
Down
you know
my
that
hood.
place, Greg. And it was good. Nothing ever great out there. I got to try this Pedals and Pints, but one day I will. Oh, when you're heading back up to the bay, Greg, I don't know how to reach you other than this wonderful podcast platform. Anyways, yeah, that's it for me. Psycho Bear signing out. Goodbye.
So abrupt. I don't know when I know I will be going back up, but I don't know when I'll be going back up to the bay. They spring this shit on me at work. Like, hey, can you go up there in 2 days? I'm like, oh, I guess. Are you trying to cause a divorce? Sure.
She's
Anyways.
probably happy to get rid of you for a couple days.
She claims she's not, but somewhere deep down inside, she's got to be. I love having the bed to myself. It's the
I
best.
don't.
Really?
I don't know if we've had this conversation.
You
It's
and my
like-
wife then.
You know how everybody's like, you talk up a big game about like, oh man, I can't wait to have the bed to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I lay in the middle of the bed and I like sprawl out.
Yes.
And then
Love it.
after about 2 minutes, I'm just like, wow, this isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Oh.
And I get to my regular side and I get in my regular sleeping position. I'm like,
Not me,
oh,
man.
all right, I guess this is just how we sleep from now on.
I'm doing bed angels in the middle, just sprawled out. Oh, it's glorious.
So I like waking up like that, to just be able to get that good morning stretch in. Like you wake up and each foot hits a corner of the bed. The hands get corner of the bed. You're X'd out, and that's nice. But yeah, sleeping, I just can't just look like a chalk line murder scene, you know? Just,
I always
style.
end up like back in my spot, curled up in the corner like usual by the end of the night. But when I start, like I go to sleep in the middle of the bed, just sprawled out, nice and quiet. It's great.
man, isn't that bizarre?
It is weird. But then like I said, I wake up like in the corner as if I'm being kicked or something. But hey,
Yeah,
not a therapy
that
show.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, never. What was Psycho Bear say? Oh, do we like sours? Fuck yeah, I like sours. Who doesn't like sours?
Yeah, sours they're super solid. Do I
Yeah.
buy a lot of them? No, doesn't
Right.
fit the algorithm. very
Sure.
well.
Yeah, usually pretty pricey.
Pretty pricey, low ABV.
Yeah.
If
But,
I go out to a brewery, I will try theirs. You know,
Right. That's when I do my most sour consumption is at the brewery. So I haven't been to Seattle in a minute, but Seattle's always got a super, like a real solid beer scene up there.
Right.
So
I've heard Seattle's really good. I've heard Portland's really good too. But I've never heard of this
I've done
Mirage.
them both. I have not heard of Mirage. Been to Portland, been in Seattle. Great beer, but yeah, it's been a minute. Mirage must be a little on the newer side.
I hope they've been around for like 30 years now.
I know. They probably have. I'm just being a dick. Wonder if I can Google this real quick. Mirage Brewing, Seattle. There they are. They have almost 4,500 followers on the grams. They've probably been around too long.
Oh yeah, maybe they're new.
New adjacent. I mean, I haven't been up there in like 8 years, probably at least. So, anywho,
People don't forget.
yeah, 805-538 beer. That's the number to call if you guys want to leave a voicemail.
Yeah, get on a voicemail.
Yeah, get up on it.
You don't even have to be drunk.
It's true. We prefer if you were,
It helps.
but you don't have to be. Leave us a voicemail. All right, Ludicrous Libation Law. This one comes to us from everyone's favorite place, West Virginia.
Okay, I was going to say New Jersey. So
Oh no, West Virginia. What was it last time? They probably don't even have fax machines to listen to the podcast on.
I think they do have more breweries than North Dakota, though. I think we figured out
Yeah, something like that.
North Dakota was like 20.
Yeah, like 19 or something like that. Yeah, some
Yes.
weird small number. Yeah. Well,
West
in
Virginia was like 28.
yeah, it wasn't a whole lot more. In West Virginia, bars are technically illegal if they also don't serve food.
Food for them is just people, though.
I was going to say street possum, but
Cutting them deep. No,
Yeah.
I saw there's squirrel eaters out there.
Oh, is this a real
Yes.
thing?
Yeah, I watched back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like 10 years ago. Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmern used to be a
Sure.
big show on the Food Network.
Yeah.
And West Virginia is such a bizarre place. Like he usually goes to countries like Spain and wherever and Japan and here and
exotic
there.
places.
He did a fucking episode in West Virginia because it is that bizarre. And yeah, one of the places he went to eat, they had like squirrels strung up by their tails, like on a clothesline. And
clothesline from hell.
Yeah, so JBL. Yeah, they just eat a lot of squirrels. I don't think that would be very good. A bit nutty.
A bit nutty. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
By the way, Mirage Beer up in Seattle, their first post on the gram was November of 2017. So, newish.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that was
6
a
years old.
great time for breweries.
Oh, that was prime time.
2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Popping up around that time, you're probably doing pretty well.
Yeah, that was like peak craft, I'd say.
Peak, man. Just the cream of the crop, the cream rising to the top.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
All right, before we move on.
Yeah. Before we move on, West Virginia, they're fucked.
Enjoy those fucking squirrels
Yeah.
in your bars.
I feel like they have to have like a roadkill restaurant too. Where like
There's no way they don't.
the restaurant just salvages roadkill and like that's what's on the menu for the night.
Closing early today, no traffic.
So gross.
So gross. All right.
But
if you don't mind.
So real. I don't mind.
I'm going to make a call the pen.
He calls to the bullpen for beer.
Still laughing about roadkill.
Well, it's a real thing. I guarantee it.
I absolutely believe it is.
Like, and you don't even need like a catchy name. It would just be like the Roadkill Diner.
Yeah, the Roadkill Cafe or something like that.
Oh, that's good. I like the alliteration.
Yeah. I'm drinking nothing to do with roadkill.
Cafe with a K.
But just to sound...
Please drink your beer.
But just to sound fancy or to look fancy, they have the little like line over the E. Little teal day. I'm drinking, along with Flex and Oktoberfest. This one is from Enegren Brewing, their Oktoberfest beer that they just released a couple weeks ago. 5.5%, 23 IBUs, has a 3.82 on Untapped because people don't appreciate good German beer.
They really don't.
They say on the can here, Enegren Oktoberfest is a traditional Bavarian Märzen style lager brewed with imported German Munich, Vienna, and Pilsner malts. These malts give our Oktoberfest a beautiful copper color and a full-bodied, malty, sweet flavor with hints of honey, nuts, and caramel. Prost! As you can see, I think it matches that description visually perfectly.
Very, very great color.
Very caramely, very clear. Here's the sniffer. Very roasty on the nose.
Ooh, okay.
A lot of roasty toastiness.
Do you like your Oktoberfest roasty?
I don't dislike them roasty.
Okay.
As long as it's an appropriate amount of roasty.
Right, like chestnuts on an open fire.
Right, not burnt nuts on my ding-a-ling. Sorry. Tongue jabber time.
Zungenjabber.
Zungenjobber.
I nailed it.
You really did. This is so good. Fuck you, 382.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
People are crazy.
I'd say the Schnoz has more roasty toasty than the actual beer does. The beer has just the right amount.
Okay, that's
very
what I
clean.
like.
Yeah, very clean. Finishes very dry, which makes you coming back for more. I don't find it, and I actually enjoy this. I don't find it to be overly sweet. Sometimes the Märzens get a little on the sweet side. This one is not, and I appreciate that. Like, I am not a huge Dunkel person because they're too sweet for me.
So I don't like a lot of Dunkels. I will like maybe like 2 Dunkels.
Yeah.
But I like when they are like buttery.
Yeah, the Dunkels I like are not true to style because they're just a little too sweet for me.
Yeah, not a big fan of that. I'm not gonna lie here. Dunkels and like Doppelbocks.
Mm-hmm.
Just those are probably 2 styles that are not for me.
I'm with you, especially on the Dunkels. Doppels, they're hit and miss, but Dunkels, 95% of the time I don't like them. They're just not for me. They're too sweet. I know that's the style, and I know it might be the perfectly created Dunkel. Not my jam.
So like black IPA over a Dunkel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love black IPAs.
Red IPA?
Over a Dunkel?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
honestly, most styles over a dunk. I just don't like the sweetness.
Well, I'm just trying to think like red IPAs are very, very malty. Sometimes overly malty.
They can be, yeah. But in general, I would take the red IPA over a Dunkel. It's just too sweet for me. Too honey and caramel tasting. Like this is so clean. Finish is so dry. Leaves the tongue wanting more. Which is, I mean, if you're making beer, that's the perfect thing. People needing to drink more and more.
Keep drinking and drinking and drinking.
As I'm doing. So, I mean, it's fucking Energon. We know they're going to knock it out of the park. It's a lager. So.
It's a lot. Is it a lager?
It's a Märzen style lager.
It's very good on the Zungenjabber.
Zungenjabber. Every time I pull this up, it reloads.
Zungenjabber.
I just need to pull that out as a drop.
Drop it.
Drop it like it's hot. All right, let's get some news in here before we get up out of here. Cambridge Brewing Company to close in December after 35 years.
That's sad.
Yeah. This is an interesting story. So after 35 years, Massachusetts-based brew pub, Cambridge Brewing Company, has announced it will shut its doors at the end of 2024. The brewery wrote on social media over the weekend, "To our dear CBC friends and family, our time is coming to a close. Our last day of service will be December 20th, but what a time it has been. Unlike common culprits behind craft brewery closures as of late, punishingly high rent costs, a distracted drinker base, a slowing industry, CBC is going out on its own terms." Founder and owner Phil Bannatyne told the Boston Globe. He goes on to say, "I want to retire. There comes a time in everyone's life when what becomes apparent, and I think the time for me is now." So he's just retiring. They're not getting shut down, or
even with saying that things have slowed down and
so he says.
There's got to be something underlying.
Just old. You know how that is.
I feel ya.
I'm ready to retire. Financially, I'm not, but my body sure is.
Physically,
yeah.
Stick a fork in me.
I'm done.
Well, West Virginians, please don't, because
they might literally.
Yes, that's being figurative here.
Don't get any ideas.
Not roadkill yet.
Right. Give it time. We talked about this, I mean, probably close to a year ago. Fireball, the disgusting cinnamon whiskey.
Terrible.
They're little like mini bottle shot things.
So funny thing here. So when we picked the order for my fantasy football draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tradition to get like shots before the start.
Sure.
So the guy went out on his break at work and bought like a 10-pack of Fireball shots.
Not whiskey.
Not whiskey. So I had to enlighten everybody by saying this is just a malt beverage and it is not actual whiskey. So funny thing is when you look
You're going to tell him about the beechwood aging process?
No, I didn't want to bore him to sleep. But if you look at the little bottle now, they spell it whiskey, WHISKY.
Interesting.
So it looks like whiskey, but it's whiskey.
Right. That's like we were at dinner one night with Deb and Brian, and this was not a fancy establishment. The drink on the menu was old fashioned.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. It was like, does that make it like a knockoff old fashioned, or why is it different here?
Maybe they think that's what it is.
Maybe. It's like, is this a typo? Anyways, so back to Fireball. They went to court. There was a whole class action thing because the little bottles are fermented malt beverages. They're not whiskey. And Fireball maker Sazerac attempts to block the class action certification. Sazerac isn't taking the heat for causing confusion between its whiskey-based Fireball Cinnamon and its malt-based product of the same name. After Sazerac was hit with a class action lawsuit last year for allegedly creating consumer confusion between the two products, the company urged a California federal judge last week not to grant class certification to buyers who claimed the single-serving Fireball malt beverages misled consumers into thinking they were buying Fireball's cinnamon whiskey product. The spirits giant is arguing that the putative classes experts' proposed surveys don't show wide-ranging deception, saying that neither of the two surveys are admissible because the methods do not properly target Fireball buyers and ignore important factors like convenience and supply. I don't know why that matters, because if I want Fireball, which I don't, I want actual Fireball. The product in question, Fireball Cinnamon, is a flavored malt beverage that contains natural whiskey and other flavors and caramel color, according to its label. The beverage is 16.5% ABV, half the strength of the spirits-based Fireball at 33%.
Well, it's all terrible.
Yeah, either way, I don't want to drink it.
It really is.
So this is interesting. I just Googled, is it whiskey or whiskey? EY or no
Right.
EY. The tricky part is matching the right spelling with the right country of origin. If you're talking about a drink that's been made in Scotland, Canada, or Japan, they use the spelling without the E. When referring to drinks distilled in the United States or Ireland, they use the E in whiskey.
I'm going to have to go to the liquor store tomorrow.
Yeah. So without the E is not technically wrong. It's just weird to see in America.
So it's not produced or made in America or Ireland then?
Well, the other thing is if it says whiskey, though, I mean, then it's a real...
Yeah,
That sounds like
it says it right on the bottle.
Yeah, then they're really deceiving the public.
Right.
Well,
so then you would think you are getting whiskey.
right.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Either way, they're deceiving the public into thinking they're drinking something that tastes halfway decent. They're not. It's so gross. I can't. I've never liked Fireball.
I did that shot at the picking of the draft order, and it was the worst. Yeah.
I can't believe you woke up okay after fucking Fireball.
Oh, yeah, I woke up fine. I mean, it was just one.
Oh, that's good. What was the rest of the liquor you had then?
Oh, at the draft? Oh, so
Yeah.
that was at the draft order. So that was a different day.
I see.
Oh, we just drank shots of Jack all night.
Ooh. I mean, much better than Fireball.
Right.
I
But
could
still,
Jack and diet.
to wake up fine after 6 shots of Jack.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We'll end it on this one. Take a trip down to Florida, shall we?
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Get your gator and your grenade. We're going to Florida. And, Alachua, man. Alachua is apparently a place in Florida.
Sure.
Alachua? Man arrested for driving his tractor on Main Street while drunk.
I feel like we've heard stories like this before.
That's very Florida. Rance Edward Shannon, 60.
What was his first name?
Rance.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah, like France without the F.
Right.
Yeah. Of Alachua was arrested and charged with driving under the influence and driving without a valid license after allegedly weaving across lanes in a tractor on High Springs Main Street.
That's the slowest weaving I can imagine.
Right. Is that really a weave?
It's like
at that point?
Austin Powers trying to do that U-turn and
Right. Or the whole steamroller thing, you know?
Oh,
Get out of the way.
no.
5 minutes later. At about 4:41 p.m. on August 19th, a High Springs Police Department officer saw a green John Deere tractor traveling north on High Springs Main Street. He reported the tractor traveled across a double yellow line twice and entered the opposite lane of travel to pass a line of cars. How's the tractor passing cars? That's impressive. They must be stopped.
It's got a turbo.
You were turbo tractor. It does 8 miles per hour. The officer conducted a traffic stop and the driver reportedly gave him a Florida identification card instead of a driver's license. The officer noted that there were 2 beers on the floorboard of the tractor, and he noticed a strong odor of urine and alcohol while speaking to Shannon. Shannon's speech was reportedly slurred, and the officer reported that he had difficulty standing up when he got out of the tractor. Shannon was reportedly unable to perform field sobriety exercises due to his level of influence. They ran a report on him. Shannon has 16 felony convictions, 5 of which are violent, including 2 felony DUI convictions and 36 misdemeanor convictions,
Good Lord.
non-violent, including 3 misdemeanor DUI convictions. He has served 7 state prison sentences, with his most recent release in September of 23. The judge set bail at $4,000 with a requirement for a transdermal alcohol detection device.
He said, I've been out of this place for a year. I'm itching to get me a tractor.
What do you think? A year ago, he's just about to get out like, hey, Rance, with a weird name, what are you going to do as soon as you get out of the joint? Like, I'm going to get me a tractor.
Well, I wish they would have reported how he got down from the tractor because those things are fucking tall.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they're big, they're tall, they're high up. You have to like climb up in it just to get there.
Unless it's one of those like knockoff yard tractors. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a John Deere though.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's
I
a
don't-
big fucking tractor.
Yeah. I hope it was, because that would be hilarious to see. Just rolling down Main Street in my tractor.
Passing cars. I don't think they can go faster than like 30 miles an hour.
I wonder what the top. Let's see if Google will tell us what the top speed of a tractor is.
Because I live through like in a parkway and we get stuck behind some tractors every now and then. And I think maybe they max out at 15 miles an hour.
Google says most modern tractors go roughly 25 miles per hour at top speed.
Okay.
At best, he's zipping through a school zone.
But he not pass. Yeah. Like if he's passing cars, they are probably slowing down to get out of the way because they see his zigzagging.
Or slowing down to watch the fucking idiot in a tractor.
That too.
Oh, here comes Rance again. His fucking tractor.
How many times is this now? 16, 17?
Rance, go back to West Virginia already.
Boy, I tell you, that kid'll never learn.
Oh, fucking Rance. What a guy.
Florida. Classic.
Classic Florida. Hey, speaking of Florida, hi, Vanessa.
Hello, Vanessa.
Oh,
Yeah.
slightly creepy today.
Gotta keep you on your toes.
Right.
Which I'm not into toes. So.
Oh, hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass on the feet. Definitely
Not a
not.
fan. Not a
No,
fan.
not a fan of feet. Certainly not pain to see feet pictures.
Don't hate, but I don't love.
Look, if you want to like feet, that's fine. But it's gonna
It's not
no
a
for me,
feet
dog.
hater show.
be
Just
also not a feet lover show. Let's make that clear.
very clear.
Yeah. So let's end things before we dig any deeper holes. Find us on the show.
Are we digging with our feet?
Oh God, no. Hands only. Find us on the socials at Craft Beer Republic, and of course at FlexMeABeer _ in between. 805-538-BEER, craftbeerrepublic.com. Mail at craftbeerrepublic.com. I think that's everything. I hope everyone is staying very well hydrated out there.
And on that note,
Good night, everybody.